was important for me to finally realize, stop being all these fake people I used to be, stop being afraid. There was no growth until I cut myself down to nothing, to the person I really was, the real human being. And once I found out who I really was, that's when I started growing. I was trying to build on top of a lied, fucked up foundation. You can't build a house on a fucked up foundation. So I had to get down to the actual mineral soil of who I was, and that's when you can start real growth.
And what is the role that suffering plays in that, or the willingness to suffer?
It starts to peel all those layers away, all those artificial layers away. If you're willing to suffer and go back in the grind, that internal dialogue you have with yourself when you're in misery and you're uncomfortable, it's a real, scary, unfiltered, no lying dialogue between you and yourself. And people know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about when you're in a bad spot in life and your mind is saying all kind of shit. That's who you really are. That's the real you. No Rocky Balboa moments going on up there. Like, hey, you know, it's round 14. Let's come on, we got this. No, it's like, fuck this, I'm out of here, man. This is crazy. That's where the growth happens. When you're able to stay in that moment and talk yourself back into the suck of wherever you're going through, and you start stripping those layers away, but as you're stripping those layers away, you're building calluses over top of shit in your mind. That's where the growth starts to happen, is when you have to force yourself to stay in it. You can't leave it.
When you said before this whole thing started, you said I can be me. The second you said I can cuss and be me, and cussing, people say, man, you cuss all the fucking time. Why? Well, I hate to say it, the best way for me to get how I feel across, I can't sit and say, you know what, yeah, I went through hell week and man, it was really hard. No, that motherfucker takes your damn soul, rips it inside out, and then they say, now we're going to fucking start. It allows me to express where I was at a point of my life. If I don't give you all of me, why the hell am I here? Why? How will you learn from me? People take so much offense to me. You will never learn from people if you always tap dance around the truth. We tap dance around the truth by finding the right words so I don't hurt you because you have thin skin. No. Tighten up, people. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. You might be called nigger one day. It's okay. You might be called some Jewish word or some faggot or gay word. It's okay. Let them call you that. What are you going to do now? They don't own your life. How are you going to control that now? How are you going to flip it upside down and say, Roger that, now I'm going to harness this shit, and you'll read about me years from now? How? That's the question. How are you going to do that? Thicken your skin. Become more of a human being. Don't be afraid of the reflection in the mirror, because that's all you can be afraid of. Once you overcome the reflection in the mirror, you've done it.
You are suffering so badly, mentally and physically, that all of these demons are coming up, and you're trying to find answers, and you're trying to find answers. It was like living 19 hours. It's like 5 years I put into 19 hours of highs and lows and pitfalls and seeing the sun come up, and it was like, my God, I lived 5 years in 19 hours. It was unbelievable. So for me, how I found peace was through my story, going back through my life, seeing where I came from and where I'm at now. Seeing that journey, but the thing about it is you have to see the journey. First of all, you have to start your journey. And many of us think because we're born into this world that we have started our journey. No, it's not it, man. That's not it. It's not that simple. I wish it was that simple. Many people have died and lived to be 100 fucking years old and never started their journey. That journey starts when you start to meet yourself at that battle. You start to battle yourself and start to break down those walls that you in society start to build in your own mind. Once you start to break down those walls, you've now started your journey. Your journey has to be hard at first to get through the other side to find peace.
But what happens to a lot of us is, even happened to me, so I had to become sick. God made me sick, and I couldn't run. I couldn't push anymore. So I had a lot of time to think about my life. And I never reflected back. Through reflection is where you find peace. I never reflected back on that shit. I never reflected back on where I came from and where I'm at now and all the things I overcame. You have to slow your life down enough to respect what you've done for yourself. All the things you've overcome. So to find peace, you need reflection. You need a lot of reflection to go back through and respect the journey. So through there you find your peace. Now, to go back to the suffering part of life after you find peace, it's important because why? You can never think that you've arrived. There must always be growth.
Once you realize what you get from Ultra, what you get from life, I can apply that now just by sitting here with you. You know, those tools now, I don't need to go out, even though I still do it, and go out and hammer. The hammering part is like, you know, it's like a purging of the soul. You go out there and hammer out there.
You got to do that every once in a while.
You got to hammer, man. You got to get after it. But now I figured out so many different ways and so many different tools through all of the journeys I've been through. Through just growing up, man. Just being mature, you know, just being really mature and not holding on to hate. You know, really just letting all that shit go, man, and starting from scratch and let's go forward.
How do you let it go?
I don't think enough about people that have wronged me or situations that have wronged me. Because once you've come to a place where you are really happy with who you are in life, no one fucks with you anymore. Even though they're fucking with you, it doesn't fuck with you. You know, like I used to be so hurt by everything in the military, and someone did something or said something, like, man, I have overcome so much shit. There's not, I'm just in a really good headspace right now. My headspace, I own it. A lot of people own other people's headspace. I own my own shit now. I'm talking about the black and white issue, gay and lesbian, whatever the fuck you're dealing with issue. There's so much growth in that. There's so much growth in going back to school, going back to get more education, learning another culture. Learning, it's just about constantly immersing yourself in something that you're just not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. It's not about running a lot of miles. It's not about, you know, going back to these hard fucking like crucibles of like doing all these different challenges physically. A lot of the hardest challenges in the world are mental challenges of trying to be a better person. Like for instance, man, I talked to this guy the other day, man, just to bring up another race issue. He's like, hey man, like I gotta be honest with you, man, like I was born hating black people. Mm. And he goes, hey, are you able to take this conversation? I go, yeah, what's up, man? He goes, you're my mentor. And I have to tell you this, man, because, you know, I grew up calling black people nigger. Mm. And he goes, and he looked at me and goes, I hope that you don't hate me now. I go, you know how much fucking courage it took for you? I go, motherfucker, I respect you more now than fucking ever. I don't know who the fuck you are, but now I respect you. Yeah. Because if you walk up to me and tell me this, that I'm your mentor, and then almost start crying to me, because for 30 years of your life, you made black jokes, called black people out of their fucking name, called them nigga. Now you're talking to a black man who was called nigga more times than I can count. You're telling me that, please don't hate me now, but you are now my mentor. Mm-hmm. That's growth. That's the suffering. You know, that's part of the, you know, maturing in life that I'm talking about. You know, so that's the going back and trying to always fix yourself. You're not always fixed. Through finding peace, you're proud of yourself. It doesn't mean that you're totally fixed and you're all good and everything is great and now I've arrived and I can be comfortable. No, man. It means that you're proud of yourself. But in being proud of yourself, take that time to say, okay, man, but I'm still fucked up in a lot of fucking areas. And that's that going back and constantly going back through that and fixing yourself. Yeah. They're more caught up in what other people think about them than how you feel about your own personal self. So a lot of people have their brain and their mind on rent to a whole bunch of motherfuckers in the world. I am paying rent on my own shit. I finally put a down payment on it, and I'm making payments every daggone day on my own fucking brain. So you don't fucking control that shit anymore, man. I got it.
Most of this generation quits the second they get talked to. You did this wrong, or they get yelled at. It's so easy to be great nowadays because everybody else is, most people are weak. This is a softened generation. So if you have any mental toughness, any ability, if you have any fraction of self-discipline, the ability to not want to do it but still do it. People have a hard thing to understand. I hate to run. And what makes me so crazy, it isn't anymore, is people go, well, why do you run if you hate it? What are you talking about? I don't want to take showers and eat either. I hate that too. That's a life, man. It wasn't until I changed that mentality that I became somebody. I hated going to school, so guess what? I was dumb as shit. That's what 1 + 1 is 2. But if you can get through to doing things that you hate to do, on the other side is greatness. That's what people understand. By me running, I'm callous in my mind. I'm not training for a race. I'm training for life. I'm training for the time when I get that 2 o'clock in the morning call that my mom is dead or something happens tragic in life. I don't fall apart. I'm training my mind and my body and my spirit so it's all one, so I can handle what life is going to throw at me. Because the life I've lived, it throws a whole bunch at you. And if you're not physically and mentally prepared for that, you're just going to crumble. And you're good for nobody.